Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Fumble Live. We had a big weekend for NBA trades. We're going to be getting into all of it. But first, make sure you subscribe to our channel, tap the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. Here's the Fumble Squad. I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @DevinHoward.
Happy Monday, guys. I think that's me, actually. Welcome. Thank you for checking me out on J Ray the Fanatic. I heard all this music. I'm pretty sure that's my YouTube.
Oh, I didn't hear anything. I think you're good. It's your girl, Britt Johnson.
Okay.
You guys can follow me on all social media at I am Britt Johnson. I can see you guys again. I have internet connection again. This is great. This is amazing. I'm so excited. I've never wanted to see myself so badly in life. So I'm glad I can see
We
you
never
better.
wanted to see you so bad.
Yes.
I know. We really missed having a good internet connection for Britt. You know, it really sucks when any of us have a bad connection. Like right now today, I am extremely glitchy, but like it makes it so difficult to do the show when someone is on a 10-second delay or whatever. So
Right.
We powered through it. Britt, you were great. But now strong net connection and the normal framing and all of that. So it's good.
Yes.
How was everyone's weekend, by the way?
My weekend was fantastic.
Oh, what did Jackie?
Oh.
I'm you said that very excited. What did you do?
It was. This is going to sound so bad, but I had a friend come over and jailbreak my Fire Stick. So I no longer have to go to the bars to watch every single game. I can watch every single game at home and The Mandalorian. It was fantastic. I had such a great weekend.
Wow.
Hey, nobody go snitch on Jackie, though. Don't go snitch on her, okay? We don't want to see the po-pos come to her house.
Yeah, actually, Jackie, maybe you shouldn't have announced that on a live public show. But,
She's joking, y'all. She's joking.
Yeah, just kidding.
Jackie, give me his number after this. Thanks, girl.
I got you, girl. I got you.
Yeah,
I got you.
Britt, how was your weekend?
Well, and to that point, Jackie, that's a really good thing that happened because in LA, if you guys live in LA, we are actually shutting down the restaurants and stuff starting Wednesday. So yesterday, I found out actually as I was out getting lunch with one of my girlfriends and her daughter. So I'm going to make sure I try to eat out, I guess, as much as I can this week and tip your servers because now they're going to be without work. But my weekend, I almost am at 100% with my apartment. I literally built everything by myself. I moved a lot of stuff. There's 3 more things that I'm waiting to get. And then I'll be perfectly ready to sit in my house 24/7 in quarantine by myself. So I got to make
again
to be alone.
Right.
Yeah, I am bummed to hear about this new shutdown. I guess I understand why it needs to happen, but there's all these disparities in the way different businesses have to handle COVID and all of that. Mm-hmm. But like Britt said, make sure you tip your servers. And also, if I can make another recommendation, go and get takeout, go and get food from these small restaurants that aren't big chains. Those restaurants and businesses are going to need our support so much going into the winter. But you guys, on that note, let's switch gears. Let's talk about some NBA trades. A lot went down this weekend. I want to just go over some of the big ones. So Montrezl Harrell obviously walked across the street to the Lakers, signed a 2-year deal. He's going to be making $9.25 million the first year and $9.72 million the second. The second year also has a player option. The Lakers also finalized a 2-year deal with Marc Gasol. They're trading JaVale McGee in a future second-round pick, the Cavs, to make room for him. Let's get into Ibaka. Signed a 2-year, $19 million deal with the Clippers that also includes a player option year. Gordon Hayward signed a 4-year, $120 million deal with the Hornets. Steven Adams moving to New Orleans after spending his entire career with the Thunder. Jason Tatum, he agreed to a 5-year extension worth up to $195 million with the Celtics. Donovan Mitchell agreed to a 5-year designated rookie extension worth up to $195 million. and De'Aaron Fox has agreed to a 5-year max extension worth at least $163 million. So those are some big long-term dates. Let's start off by talking about Montrez. So I want both of you guys. First of all, Jackie, what's your reaction to this? And second, do you guys feel that this intensifies the Lakers-Clippers rivalry even more? So Jackie, start off with you, and then Britt, I'd love to hear your reaction to that after.
I love this. I think they obviously leveled up with this signing because, you have this 6th man of the year. I think that's dope. Also with the addition of Wesley Matthews. I think the Lakers just went out and really did the damn thing right now with this, and they really kind of solidified that they are definitely trying to make another push for that ring. I actually thought that Rajon was going to go, so I thought maybe we would switch, like they would get one of ours, we would get one of theirs, and then no reason to beef because it's just even Steven. But, Rajon ended up going to Atlanta, so that didn't actually go down like that. So, it's always a beef when something like this happens. I'm definitely taking this much better because I'm on the winning end of it. When KD did it, I was like, you snake, you low good, you know what I mean? But now I'm just like, nah, we got the upside of it. So I'm happy about that. And obviously it's going to be a huge beef when the two teams do play. So it's going to be interesting. But I think the Clippers have enough internal struggle that they need to deal with that they probably shouldn't be worried about the Lakers or anybody else. They kind of need to figure that out, especially since they didn't even have any draft picks to really level up because they did all of that to get Paul George, and that didn't work out. So, yeah, the beef is going to be there, but if the Clippers are smart, they'll look more internal and fix their internal strife before they look across the hall and who we got now. So,
So, Britt, were you surprised by this move, and do you also feel that this intensifies the rivalry?
No, because I said it a couple months ago. I said Trez was leaving the Clippers. Like, yes, I didn't know where he was going to go, but he was our internal strife. He was our issue. He was the reason why we had different situations in the locker room because it was his biggest thing in his issues with Paul George and stuff like that. So we did remove whatever was toxic. I knew it was going to be him that was going to leave. And I said it before. I was like, I don't care if he was 6th man of the year. I want him to go. I said that on the show. So I'm happy he's gone. I didn't think that he was going to stay. I knew he was a free agent. I knew he wasn't going to stay. And obviously, like, Lou Will's been with the team longer, and he has a better relationship with a lot of the players and stuff like that. So Lou Will wasn't up for free agency. I knew Trez was leaving. I said it at the very beginning. And so I'm not surprised that he left. To go to the Lakers, I think to see the surprise on all the Clippers' faces, I think is very surprising because, number one, it did show, I guess, there were more issues with Trez with the Clippers than we expected because he didn't even tell his teammates. Like, Patrick Beverley was like, what the F? Like, what just happened right now? Like, and then he later on Twitter was like, yeah, okay, all, craziness aside, I am, happy that he got his money and yada, yada. But, like, for a guy who's supposed to be the closest, his closest buddy on the team, didn't even know he was signing with the Lakers, So I think that in and of itself shows how much Trez was, like, disconnected from the team. Like, I mean, honestly, ever since I think right before All-Star break is when we kind of saw a separation with Trez. And I think he knew maybe even then that he was going to be making a move. He knows he's a free agent come off season or whatever. And I think he was trying to just wait and see what the Clippers were going to do in the playoff situation. And then obviously when that didn't pan out, he KD'd himself and went over to the Lakers. So I knew he was going to leave though. So I wasn't surprised with that at all when it comes to Trez and signing with another team during free agency.
And then, Britt, how do you feel about this Serge Ibaka news? I know you did a little celebratory dance when I first mentioned it. So tell me how you think that's going to work out for the Clippers.
I will be shortly, hopefully, getting a ring on this finger because I have the biggest crush on Serge Ibaka. One of my girlfriends literally posted it when it was like, oh, rumor to the trade or the signing was going to happen or whatever. And I was like, girl, you better get in line because Serge has been my boo forever now. I think he's like, that's my man. So So now that he's with the Clippers, I'm definitely going to try to make him my man so I can go to the games, potentially when they start letting friends and family go. But no, I'm happy about it. It is honestly very crazy because the Toronto Raptors lost both of their big men because Mark went to the Lakers and Serge going to the Clippers. So I think the Toronto Raptors are actually going to have to figure out what they're going to do because we literally learned that the small ball doesn't work in now the Toronto Raptors don't have any big men on their team, which is kind of crazy. And there's not obviously many free agents left. Maybe, who knows, Anthony Davis might go there. Who knows what's going to happen because he's still out of his contract. But it is kind of crazy that the Toronto Raptors did lose their big men. Shout out to Fred VanVleet, though, who signed the highest undrafted contract in NBA history. He was undrafted when he first came into the league and signed that 4-year, $85 million deal, which is the most of an undrafted player ever in NBA history. So shout out to him for that. I think that is awesome. But I do think the Toronto Raptors are going to fall big time this year. I think it's going to be a huge miss to miss those two guys. I don't really love the Mark signing, though, for the Lakers just because he's old now, you know, like, yeah, he was like this great defender and this, that, and the third, but like, I really don't think you're going to get that much out of him. We saw his decline a lot this year as opposed to previous years. And I just think that's going to continue to get worse. So I don't really like that signing for the Lakers, especially like, obviously we know JaVale McGee had trouble, you know, figuring out that spot or whatever with that team. And there was like a weird kind of, I don't know. It just didn't connect with JaVale there as their starting center, but I really don't like Mark there either. I think he's too old, and I think he's declined so much this last year that he's just not going to be effective moving forward.
Jackie, that kind of brings me to what I wanted to talk to you about. Mark Gasol, how do you feel about that move to the Lakers?
I feel like Britt, like he is getting older, and we definitely did see a decline in him, but I think that he still has enough left in the tank to get us what we need, this one more time. I think that's all we really are looking for right now is one more time, because he's too old for us to really to think, beyond that. So I think this is definitely a one-time deal. I think most of my excitement was around, Dennis Schroeder coming to the team. That to me was just a phenomenal addition. I think that's going to work well. I think the dynamic between him and LeBron James is going to be great. So yeah, I get the Marc Gasol thing is not like the most age appropriate for a long-term situation, but at the same time, I still think he's going to add a lot of basketball knowledge, and he's going to kind of fill in the blanks for some pieces for a short amount of time. And I think that's definitely the Lakers' goal right now. I don't think that they're really saying, okay, how is our team going to look 4 or 5 years down the line? They can't really say that because LeBron is going to age out by that point. So you kind of have to get what you can get right now. And I think they've made moves to make sure that they can get what they're going to get right now. So I wasn't overjoyed by the signing as much as I was with the Dennis Schroeder one, but I'm not mad at the Gasol signing either.
Well, and Jackie, your boy re-signed. KCP's back, so you got your boy back.
Yeah, KCP. Yeah, I got my boy back.
Markieff Morris just announced like an hour ago that he's going to be staying with the Lakers, and then obviously we know Marcus Morris is staying with the Clippers. So the Morris twins are both staying in LA with their teams too.
Yep. Right. Yeah, I love how this is shaping up with everything with the Lakers. I don't think that we're going to get a Battle of LA, which I think is my biggest disappointment because I really wanted to see the Battle of LA last season. I know Britt said that she thinks that Trez was kind of the person that was toxic in that situation. So maybe now they can build up their chemistry. But at the same time, Kawhi's not changing anything. He's still going to live in San Diego. He's still not the leader of the team. He's still going to be late to practices. He's still going to, want to limit his minutes, which was a problem for not just Trez. It was a problem for a lot of people. So like I said before, I still think that the Clippers got to get it together internally before we can really start talking about the Battle of LA, which I think would be great for TV, but I just don't think we're going to see it.
We are in a pandemic still, no traffic. And so maybe Kawhi will get to LA faster.
Oh, God.
Okay. Jackie, I want to just go back a little bit to something you mentioned before about LeBron, nearing his retirement. So do you have any thoughts as to what kind of deal AD is going to sign with the Lakers? According to a lot of analysts, he has two different options, or like the most obvious two options would be either a 3-year, $106 million deal with a player option for 2023 season, or I think a 5-year max $189 deal, which would be the best option for the Lakers. Do you think that he's going to be trying to align his contracts to see what happens when he becomes a free agent, or do you think he's going to stick with the Lakers for 5 years?
So I only heard bits and pieces of that because you were a little glitchy, but I think that I think I got the gist of it, and I think that if it was me, if I was advising AD, I would tell him to take the 3-year deal with an option, because you don't know how the franchise is going to look once LeBron is definitely going to retire. And you don't want to put yourself in a situation that LeBron came into, where all of a sudden you have to rebuild this team and things of that nature. I think LeBron was okay with that because LA is where he wanted to be, not just because of basketball, but because of other reasons. He wanted to build his entertainment. There was reasons why LA made sense to him. But I think when you're still kind of in your prime, you don't really want to go into that situation. So if I was AD, I would take the 3-year deal with the option and then just see what the franchise looks like after that. Because if LeBron goes and then all of a sudden you're in a situation where winning's not an option, then don't waste away. Go where you can win. So that would be my advice to him. I get the 5-year deal is best for the Lakers, but players don't care about what's best for the franchise anymore. They're doing what's best for them, and I think the 3-year deal is what's best for AD.
I'm with you 100%. And then, Britt, for my final question, is there any trade that happened over the weekend that was especially shocking or surprising to you?
No, and the weekend really didn't have a lot of trades. It was more like a free agency weekend. We saw the bulk of the trades being done around the draft time. So as far as free agency stuff, though, the Gordon Hayward, I think, was my biggest surprise to have him join LaMelo Ball with the Charlotte Hornets. I thought that was I had no thought in my head. I honestly low-key forgot he was a free agent, I think, just because he's had his injuries for the last 2 years. But I thought that was kind of the shocker, I guess, for me, was the Gordon Hayward situation. But if he's fully healthy and he's good to go, they could do a little bit of damage in the Eastern Conference. Maybe not to start the season, but towards the end, we might see them kind of come together a little bit and figure stuff out. And honestly, that 5 through 8 spot in the East is always easy to pick up. There's usually not huge competition for those spots. So I think they could possibly be, a playoff team.
Mm-hmm. All right, you guys. Well, that wraps up Need to Know News. Take it away.
Okay, I think it's my turn. So let's get into this post-up glitchy edition. We've been talking about it already. If you follow us on Instagram, which you should be, we posted this as well because Patrick Beverley's reaction, like Britt said, to Trez leaving was almost instantaneous. And so we posted this to Instagram. It was his initial reaction that just basically kind of says, what the F? Leah, I don't know if you have that tweet, but yeah, so he just basically said, what the F, when that breaking news came out. I thought this was interesting because it, like Britt said, your first thought is wait, how is this a surprise to you? How do you not know this? And then you kind of realize, all right, he must not have told him. But then the friends' response started coming. They all started talking about culture and who was happy and who was not. So this next user kind of talks about that a little bit. Says, yo, the culture of this league is ass. All these dudes joining forces to help each other win. How you joining this same dude you and your team was really trying to beat? How are you going to ask those questions and we live in a world where Kevin Durant is still playing basketball? You know what it is. You answered your own question at the beginning of that. I thought this was funny. He posted this, another person posted this, says, yep, we knew this was going to happen as soon as he signed with Clutch. I think that's probably true. As soon as that happened, we knew this was going to happen. But at the same time, Clutch isn't just about LeBron and the Lakers. It's not even business wise to say that. They definitely want to spread that around and get as much money for their players as possible. But maybe Trez had some beef. Maybe this is a petty move. Who knows? But then Patrick Beverley did come back and did congratulate Trez, but in the worst way possible. He posted this picture. I don't know if you guys have seen Queen and Slim, but that face was right before he got killed. That face that the guy's making to the guy, I forget the actor's name. He's such a good actor too. He was in Get Out. But that he offed that guy right after he looked at him like that. So I don't know if this is really Patrick Beverley saying, "Hey, congratulations," but he might be saying congratulations, but I'm gonna deal with you later. Britt, do you think this is a real congratulations?
Coming from Patrick Beverley, yes. Yes, we all know how Patrick Beverley is. He's a dog, and he's like, "Okay, I see you, my guy. Congratulations, but I got you." Unfortunately, they don't play the same position, but Patrick Beverley be all over that court when he does get on the court, and he's attacking everybody, and he's like the little chihuahua going after everybody, no matter what size you are or whatever. So I know it's going to be an intense game. It will be like a little bit out of love as soon as they get off the court, but on that court, I think it's going to be like, you're going to see Patrick Beverley, the dog, and you're going to see Trez, the dog, and they're definitely going to be going at it with each other, and I think it's going to be fun to watch. So if we don't have a Battle of LA, that is fine, as long as we have this battle of Trez and Patrick Beverley, because it'll be entertainment for sure.
For sure. And guessing from that picture, he's already ready for that, because that is the I'm going to end you face. So we'll see how that one goes. Speaking of, we already talked about AD has not yet signed his contract with the Lakers. I definitely think it's coming, because I think that was the plan from day one. Danny Green went to like 3 teams in one day, so he might be a little bit salty, because he went to his Instagram story and posted this, basically saying, congrats to AD for signing, but nothing has come out. As you guys know, we just talked about that. Nothing came out that AD has signed anything. I hope Britt is wrong. Obviously, I think he's going to end up staying with the Lakers. But then fans kind of thought that he was just leaking this because he wanted to get, nice little jab. He since deleted that story, but then this Lake Show says he just gassing up the Laker fans one last time on his way out, just kind of like he gassed us up when we thought he was going to hit that game-winning 3, but he didn't. So I think this is exactly what is happening. Devin, why do you think Danny Green would post this and then delete it later? Like, what's the point of that? He definitely doesn't have an inside track, I don't think. I don't think AD called Danny Green and say, "Yeah, I can. Can you hear? Can you hear us?"
I can hear you. Yes. I thought my initial reaction was that Danny Green caught wind of whatever deal AD signed, and just got a little ahead of himself, was a little too quick on the trigger, and posted that congratulatory. But I don't know. Then now that I think about it, why would he know what the deal is? So I'm not really sure why he did this.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I would do just to kind of like, one last jab, because he also told Laker fans that we better, put some respect on his name and all that. Does he get to go to the parade? I just thought of that. Now that he's out of here, if we ever have a parade, does he get to go?
He does.
Okay. All right, so we have some more reactions. This one is very, very perplexing to me, and I actually don't like this tweet from Marcus Morris. When we know that he's staying with the Clippers, and he posted this to his Twitter, which I just don't like. I kind of like when players, when they're talking about their team, like, hey, let's get it again, let's chase the ring, let's do whatever. But Marcus Morris decided to post this, and it says "stuck there," which I think is so disrespectful, and this kind of shows that there is a bigger problem in that locker room than just Trez, because first of all, it's just not smart to tell your current employer that you feel stuck. I just don't think that was a smart move. But then, of course, Twitter has to respond, because that's what you guys do on Twitter. This person actually did show some love, though, and says, as a Laker fan, I'll even admit you're one of the best players in the world. It's your team, not Kawhi's, not PG's. Take as many shots as you need, even if you have to take more shots than the two of them combined. Okay, I don't really have an opinion on that one. But then this next user definitely throws that jab, and tells him that at least you got your brother. He says, you'll never win a ring there. Sorry. You can always hold your brother's ring and shine it and kiss it, which is just the shade. But Britt, I have to come back to you because I just don't think that this is the kind of response that you want to hear from one of your players, that they feel like they're stuck there.
I think that it was another switcheroo. We all remember the switcheroo I said that happened when they were on the Phoenix, or when one of them was on the Phoenix Suns and the other one had left already. They're switching. Chris agreed too. I think we saw some switches this season because there were moments where I'm like, wait, Markieff is not as good as Marcus, and why is Marcus playing bad and Markieff is playing well? This was another switcheroo. I think Markieff got into his brother. All you got to do is get that Face ID. They got the same face, got into his Twitter account and wrote something. Now they're the biggest. I mean, they're going to continue to be rivals now that they're both on their opposite Lakers teams again. So here's battle number 2. Maybe not a battle of LA, but we got the Trez and Patrick Beverley one, and we got the Morris twins. And this was probably a Morris twin brother joke, and he posted that about his brother. So that's what I think. That's my story. I'm sticking to it because you are a free agent, my guy, and you can decide to sign wherever you want to sign. So I wouldn't say you would be stuck anywhere. That sounds like a brother joke. A little punking happening.
If that is what happened, that makes me sad that I don't have a twin, because I would do that type of stuff like all the time. It's so savage. If that's what happened, I actually love it. So I guess the jury's still out until we find out for sure. If you guys were following Woj on Twitter during all of this trade and free agency, whatnot, it was a lot. It was hard to keep up with at times. There was one point during the whole thing, and I tried to find the original post, but I think Woj actually deleted it. But or maybe it's just in there because there's thousands and thousands of posts. But his initial post made me think that the Denver Nuggets had traded their rookie RJ Hampton, which I was so confused about that because I was like, why would they do that? And then about 10 minutes later, Woj tweeted out a correction. And his correction basically said that, no, that's not what's happening. I think we have that tweet so you can kind of see how he corrects his whole confusion that happened with us. But basically he says that there's a trade that did happen, but RJ is safe. He is staying in Denver. Maybe we don't have that tweet. But anyway, so RJ responded to that tweet by saying, okay, cool, because I thought I had been traded too. So he responded to that saying, thanks for letting us know. Maybe we don't have those tweets. I thought we did, but maybe we don't. But Woj had to do this clarification because poor RJ was confused and thought that he might have been. Okay, so here's the correction that Woj tweeted. He said, to be clear, Denver traded a 2023 protected first-round pick to New Orleans for the draft rights to RJ Hampton, and that 2023 pick is headed through Oklahoma City. The Adams deal. RJ Hampton remains a Nugget. He should have said Denver Nugget. It just sounds weird when you say he's still a Nugget. And then RJ tweeted, he said, man, I was sick because I can imagine seeing that tweet and thinking you got traded and you hadn't heard anything about it. But then he says, Denver, we back. So I thought that was a funny moment because I just can't imagine how that must have felt to think that you lost your job. But we're going to move or got switched to another team. But we're going to move on to this next one because this next one is going to be one that I think we can chat about a little bit. But apparently the word on the street is that John Wall got really upset when he found out that the Wizards want to build a team around Bradley Beal, which I think that makes sense. You know, he's been there, he's younger, he's doing his thing, he hasn't been out with injuries. I think that makes sense. But apparently learning that is what made John Wall want to request a trade. And this is Bradley Beal's reaction to that. So, Leo, if you have that, can we throw that up?
Damn.
Broke the internet.
I tell you what.
So, yeah, it's not a lot. You know, sometimes you don't have to have a lot of words to let your feelings be known. And he just kind of feels some type of way about that. The fan reaction was split on this. Some people think that they should try to make amends and then stay. Other fans think that Bradley Beal deserves better. And then ironically, 2 people posted that exact thing. So we can read those really quick. Says Bradley Beal, if anyone can convince him, it's you. And then somebody else says, nah, Bill deserves a better running mate. Will all diehard fans kept rose-colored glasses on for far too long to go about what he's done for the city, like the Wizards, blah, blah. So I don't know. I'm not on team trying to keep somebody someplace that they don't want to be, because then I think that's how people become toxic. So I don't know if I would tell Bradley Beal, hey, you guys need to try to make amends and keep this thing going. And we've said from day one that we all thought that this was John Wall's team. So I get John Wall feeling a type of way. But Devin, I want to come back to you. Do you think that this is something that these two guys should try to make amends? Because it clearly seemed to bother Bradley Beal to find out that that's why John Wall wanted out.
Well, I think it doesn't ever hurt to make amends, but I'm with you 100% when you say it doesn't serve any keep an unhappy player on a team, somebody who wants to go. It's not going to turn out well for any of them stay. We were discussing that with James and how his deal is sort of riding on whether or not they can get rid of Russell Westbrook. It's not going to benefit to keep James Harden there if he's ready to go. And I feel about John Wall. But yeah, of course, discussing it with your teammates, discussing it with Bradley Beal probably is a good idea.
Yeah, no, that one was a confusing one for me, but we'll see how that one goes. I think John is definitely out. We talked about this just a second ago. Britt mentioned it as well. This Gordon Hayward deal is just odd to me. The Charlotte Hornets gave him a 4-year, $120 million contract. Technically, the way the numbers break down, they're actually paying more than his Celtics contract, and he's injury prone. Yes, if he can be healthy, it's great, but I just don't see that, being a thing. Obviously, a lot of people say goodbye to their cities when they're leaving. Gordon Hayward's wife decided to say goodbye, and I'm just going to have to read her whole goodbye because why? Why? Okay. Anyway, she says, contrary to the media in Boston, I have really enjoyed my time there and the relationships I made. I'm going to miss the community I live in, from the local police officers for checking on me every day, the wonderful friends I've made at Roch Brothers, who were always ready to chat when I was lonely, my wonderful neighbors, and of course, my friends at the cheese shop. I couldn't have been as happy as I was without all of you. Trust is a hard thing to have in the NBA world. I do trust my small community, always have my back. We are grateful to them for keeping us company while Gordon was away. So there's a couple of things that are weird in this to me. First and foremost, why are the police checking on you every day? That is problematic to me. And this user says the same thing. He says, naming two of the most expensive places to buy groceries. I don't know the area, so that's obviously another red flag. And then he says, calling the employees your friends because you talk to them too long. And then again, same police department that arrested D. Brown at gunpoint checks in with you every day for some reason. That is weird to me. I wouldn't even have posted that because, again, and especially in this social climate where police aren't doing their job, why would you do this? I just don't understand this post at all. Britt, I'm going to go to you. Is this a proper goodbye, or is this an unnecessary, or what? Why is this goodbye a thing?
I feel like she had a little bit of vino probably while she was writing that, because it was like kind of a rant. And then, it literally was like a little kind of flashback back to, I remember us, I don't even know if we talked about it on here or what, or if I just saw it, but I remember when the playoffs, or when the bubble started and everybody, the back of their jerseys were revealed, and Gordon Hayward had put education reform on his, and a bunch of people were tweeting saying that, see, he's a racist. Why does he think education reform is going to change racism and inequality and this, that, and the third? So people were already like feeling like, why would you pick that one over so many other ones, and yada, yada, yada. And so I don't know. I just think they're both like slightly odd. I think they are trying to be like that middle ground, like a Patrick Mahomes kind of like, I'm going to ride both sides of the fence kind of situation. But like in little moments, you're just like, you guys are just like, you're not connecting here. There's like something missing, and you read the room wrong. Like read the room, move accordingly. And I think that is probably the education reform they need is learning how to be educated on how to read the room. And she is not. So maybe that's something that they both need to work on.
Yeah, I agree, because that one was just like, it did not make an ounce of sense. And it just sounded so pretentious. And that's just not how you, leave a fan base or try to win over a new fan base. So I thought the whole thing was a little bit weird.
All the Boston fan bases, I'm not saying every Boston fan or whatever, but we hear so many times everybody that plays, at the Garden or at, Gillette Stadium, every single time it's some racist situation happening in Boston. Like Boston does have a racist fan base and they're known to be like more of a racist community. Again, not saying everybody there is like that, but just from what other players and stuff have said when they go to play in Boston, regardless of what team it is. It could be the Red Sox, it could be Patriots, it could be, the Celtics. Everybody has the same kind of thing. So for her to even like say, oh, the police officers were so kind to me, and like all these places that I just loved so much, when everybody else is like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad to be out of Boston. It was so racist there, like it's just like
right. It's very, very much out of touch. So good luck. I mean, Charlotte's got its own share of racism, so I'm sure they'll find a place where they can fit in. But we're going to get to this next one because the last thing that I remember, and this probably isn't the last thing, it's probably the second to the last thing that I remember Dame saying to Russell Westbrook was, I am the last person that you want to see in the playoffs. So now word on the street is that Russell Westbrook might be heading to Portland to play with Dame Dallas. So, of course, it's like, okay, is this going to work? And then Dame took to Twitter and he said that no, there's no beef, that he actually is cool with Russell Westbrook. So he posted this to his Twitter that said, I F with Russ. Y'all just created some hate between us. That's in response to somebody saying that they should do a friendly versus. Now, okay, I could have said, I could have dealt with him saying, hey, it's all good. You know what I mean? Like we do what we do on the court, but I don't have any personal problems with this man. If he comes to Portland, it's fine. But he making it seem like they've been cool this whole time. And I just don't think that that's a thing. I love that this one fan, though, had to take a moment to remind him that you actually waved goodbye to Russell Westbrook. And he posted that to his Twitter just to remind him, like, bro, y'all got a beef. You waved goodbye to him. But I actually agree that, okay, they can have beef now because they're not teammates, but they can easily get over that if they became teammates. I think these are two guys that really love the game of basketball. They're very intense with the game of basketball. And if they're playing together, they'll be cool with it. I actually don't think this would be a bad thing. I don't think it's going to be like if James Harden goes to the Nets where we're questioning, oh, is Kyrie going to lose his mind? It's not like that. These two guys would figure it out. Now, this next one, we cannot play with the music because of copyright infringement, which I think is fantastic because it's going to make it that much more cringeworthy. But the Cowboys did beat the Vikings yesterday, 31-28. It was one of the better games on yesterday. I will admit that because I got to watch all of them. But it was definitely a good game. Andy Dalton came out of his concussion protocol and threw for 3 touchdowns. The win, this is the funny part, the win puts the Cowboys in a 3-way tie with the Washington franchise and the Giants. Philly leads the division at 3-6-1. Dallas is 3-7. Let that sink in as you watch Skip Bayless dance. This is what a 3-7 dance looks like. Oh, it's so bad. He looks like a stripper in training to me. Like he's trying to figure out, should I bend my back? Should I, like
like it's painful.
That's a 3-7 dance. Britt, is this how you danced yesterday? Britt's just quiet.
I'm moving along. I got you, Skip. Skip's little move here.
The little shoulder move. So that's going to be my thing. Every time Britt sings.
No, Leo must have thought I was really bad too because I was just dancing this whole time and he never put me on the screen. So Whatever, Leo. Okay, hating on my dancing skills.
With the hair, that's the 3 and 7 hair flip. Don't hate on our.
Yeah. Second place in the division.
I absolutely love that. That is going to be, every time Britt sings, I end up dancing anyway. So that's going to be my new move from now on. Every time you sing, I'm just going to do that.
I knew this at the beginning of the year. I was like, listen, I don't care about this season. I already, whatever is whatever. But I'm like, at this point, y'all don't even, let's not even win any games. Like, who cares? Let's just get a top draft pick for next year. Let's just go. Who cares?
Right?
I have no cares in the world about my Cowboys sucking. I literally decided that early on in the season. I remember talking about it on the show, and I'm like, I don't care. It is what it is. So keep on dancing, Skip. Maybe one day you'll catch me.
Right. If you guys want, go to his Twitter and watch him dancing. And it's funny with the music. It's more cringeworthy without the music. So I'm glad that we were not allowed to play the music. All right. So last week we talked about Tom Brady won the meme contest. When DeAndre Hopkins, he said, hey, whoever posts the best gift or meme, you're going to win a signed jersey from myself. And I, of course, said that Tom Brady won it because he posted, in case you don't remember, I think, Leo, we have that. He posted this, which was him, as the GOAT. And DeAndre Hopkins tweeted, Brady wins again. I think we all agree that Tom Brady won that. But I don't think for a second that I thought that DeAndre Hopkins was actually going to give Tom Brady a signed jersey because he could do that anytime. It doesn't have to be now, but he did. He posted this to his Twitter saying that he gave Tom Brady a signed jersey, and Tom Brady says, I'm going to get you one back. So there it is. And that is so disappointing to me because why? Tom Brady doesn't need this. And the fans seem to think the same thing. Of course, they took to Twitter to say, why is this a thing? Now, this would be cool with me if this was in addition to giving it to a fan. But this user says, shaking my head, could have made a fan's entire life by giving them this instead of giving it to someone you could give it to at any time. And why would you give him a signed jersey? You could have given it to a fan. I totally agree with that. I think that this has to be an addition to. This can't be the person who actually won. I think maybe we just jumped the gun. Maybe tomorrow DeAndre Hopkins is going to have a picture of him and some fan, hopefully wearing a mask. Maybe he'll give it to him in person. But there's just no way that I believe that he made Tom Brady the official winner. Devin, do you think that that's an actual thing? Do you think that this is the official winner in Tom Brady? Or you think that this is just because the gift was dope, but then a fan will get it later?
Well, I seriously hope that he plans on also giving a fan a signed jersey because, I think it would be really lame if Tom Brady was select winner and that was it. Like everybody else who was hoping to win just doesn't get to because Tom Brady won. I do like that he held up his end of the deal, though, where it was like the best gets a signed jersey. I'm glad that I think it's kind of cool that he did send that jersey to Tom Brady, but I do hope there is somebody else getting one as well, or else I think that's a pretty bad look.
I think so too. So I'm just going to wait. I'm not going to make any assumptions right now. I think DeAndre Hopkins is better than that. So tomorrow, maybe I'll have an update of the fan that actually got it. But per usual, we got some kid action for our last post up. This one takes way too long to develop for me, but it's the ending that is dope. So check out these kids and their final moments in this basketball game, and check out the game-winning shot. Especially if you happen to be watching this and your name is Danny Green. Watch this contested shot go in.
Gotta go.
Oh, so that's all I have for post up. I actually love that one because that one was exactly how that's supposed to go. You never give up and you stick with it. But before we get out of here, I'm going to tell you what we not going to do, because again, last week I told you guys, a lot of you guys were upset because Taysom Hill was named as starter instead of Jameis Winston. I told you guys that had to happen that way because of contract. You can't pay this kid all this money and then not give him the opportunity to start when the opportunity comes around. And turns out Sean Payton was absolutely right in that situation because Taysom he was 18 for 23. He threw 233 yards. None of those were touchdowns, though. But he did rush for 2 touchdowns. So Sean Payton made the absolute right call in that situation. Our defense stepped up. It was so fitting that this went down this way because Saturday, former Falcons wide receiver decided to tweet out, he said, Saints about to get whipped trying us with Taysom Hill at quarterback. We about to sack them. So, okay, that's all well and good. Taysom was sacked 3 times, but we put the smack down and we ended up beating the Dirty Birds 24-9. So what we not going to do, though, is miss that Sean Payton took this moment to troll Roddy White, because I don't know if you can see it, but at the very top of that tweet, it says it's retweeted by Sean Payton after we won. So I love that Sean Payton took this moment to troll Roddy White. It was so savage that even Ian Rappaport decided to, in case you missed it at the top, Ian Rappaport retweeted it and said that it was savage and gave him 3 fire emojis. So I love this. He circled it and everything. I love it. I love that Sean Payton took this moment to be a troll because he doesn't usually do that often. So who dat nation? What we not going to do is doubt our head coach. He would have made the change if it was necessary. If Taysom wasn't getting it done, he would have switched it out. Winston would have been in. We're going to have faith in our squad. We're going to have faith in our defense. What we're not going to do is panic. And we're going to be happy that we're not 3-7. That's all I have to say about that. Get my girl Devin up here because now it is time for Britt's Takes.
Britt's Takes.
First of all, Jackie, don't be trying to throw shade and then go to Devin real quick so I can't respond.
You see what I did there? That was my little Sean Payton troll moment.
Anyway. No, get her off. I'm done. Whatever. I just wanted to point that out. He wasn't slick. All right. It is time for Britt's Take. Today we are talking about something. A guy I don't care about, because I am a Dallas Cowboys fan, but this team is technically half a game in front of us because, like Jackie said, they are 3-6-1 because they had a tie game earlier in the season, and we are 3-7. So we are just half a game away from being in first place thanks to this team. And apparently this team wants their quarterback fired. So this girl actually started a petition, and she said this: Carson Wentz is the worst quarterback in the history of the NFL. I am tired of waking up every football Sunday excited to watch the Birds in all of my green, and then bam, Wentz stomps on my heart and shatters it to pieces. It's a false hope every Sunday. He wakes up Sunday mornings, and the first thing he says to himself is, how much can I disappoint all the Eagles fans today? His yards suck. His sacks are embarrassing. He is embarrassing. Bring back Big D Nick. First, right now, they're trying to get to 1,000. It literally, honestly, as I was screenshotting this morning, people were just continuously, when I first started reading it, there were only 100 signs or signatures on it. And by the time I screenshotted it, it was 608, like I said here. So people, I'm sure even by now, there's probably over the 1,000. And I just think it's so silly when fans try to act like they actually have a say-so in what happens inside their organization. First of all, understand our whole division is terrible. You guys being 3-6-1 is not a bad thing because you guys could still win the division and go to the playoffs and then, have a different situation, a different outcome. I don't like that people are so hard on certain quarterbacks when, Carson Wentz, yes, has had bad games, but he also has had decent games this season. And he also has a terrible offensive line. So, you can't blame the sacks on Carson Wentz. Like, sis, I'm going to need you to understand football a little bit better than that. Like, don't blame the sacks on Carson Wentz. You blame sacks on your offensive line. Again, if it's a point where Carson Wentz maybe has the ball for 10 seconds and he can't get rid of them, he can't find somebody open, maybe blame it on him a little bit more, maybe blame it on your receivers a little bit more. But really, if you've watched any Eagles games, which I don't watch the Eagles games, I mean, they're trash. Don't get excited every morning and every Sunday morning thinking the Eagles are going to be great. We already know they're not going to be great this year. They're 3-6-1 for a reason, because they're terrible. Wake up every Sunday and just watch your team regardless of what's happening. We are dealing with fourth string quarterbacks and all this kind of weird stuff with the Cowboys. And look I smile every Monday morning, even though we lose 7 out of 3 of the last Monday or Sunday games. I still smile every Monday morning because I'm just like, you know what? It is what it is. Like, and I can't do anything about it. Honestly, there's been injuries across the board on the majority of teams right now. I always say, you know, the Mike Singletary thing in the league, there's not winners, there's only survivors. And honestly, a team that hasn't been hit that hard is the Steelers, which is why they are 10-0 right now. You know, like, other teams have suffered tons of injuries, and which is why they've fallen back. And our division just happens to be terrible, but you guys are still in first place. So just shut up and stop acting like you creating a petition is going to do anything. Maybe if Jackie helps you with the petition, because clearly whatever she did to get Danny Green out of the Lakers worked, but you, sis, your petition is not going to work. Jackie, what are your thoughts on this girl's petition? Can you give her maybe a better way to write her petition? Maybe explain something in the petition more than you just want Big D Nick back?
Well, first of all, the second you say you want Big D Nick back, it really has nothing to do with the man's playing style. That's first and foremost, and just know that we peeped that. That's number one. Number two, I hate petitions, because I get not wanting somebody at your franchise. I get not wanting somebody to quarterback, wide receiver, whatever. Be vocal about that. Go on Twitter, say whatever you want. But to start a petition so somebody loses their job, that is the most irritating thing in the world to me. Because if we started a petition so she could lose her job, or like, what if we started a petition that said, hey, keep the D out of whatever her name is house. You know what I mean? Now that's a whole nother situation. You know what I mean? And now she gonna feel some type of way. I hate petitions about, right. I hate petitions about players. It's not gonna happen. No one's gonna take your little funky petition seriously. The people that are gonna sign it are just butthurt like you are. It means nothing. There's nobody in the front office that is looking at that petition and going, oh my God, we should probably listen to, there's a whole petition, we should act on it. No one's doing that. Like, it's a waste of time. Do better. Go to Twitter like everybody else and just be good with that.
Right. Devin, I have a very serious question to ask you here. Do you think Carson Wentz, if he read this petition, would be more upset that there's a petition to fire him, or that the fact that she thinks that Nick Foles has a bigger thing than he has? Like,
you cut out last part, but I'm assuming what you said is funny. I think he's probably upset about all of it. I think that he's probably feeling very butthurt about it. So I just have to say, in response to the question that you asked, Jackie, I think that it is so annoying when fans do this. These petitions are ridiculous. There are petitions for everything now. Yeah, nobody's going to look at that and be like, well, we should probably make it based off of this random fan's opinion and all of the signatures on it. It's so dumb and ridiculous. It's angry, over-invested fans who are just doing the most, and I think it's ridiculous. But yes, I think he's probably upset about all of it. I think that it would have probably hurt his feelings.
Right, and then on top of everything, it's going to kill his confidence. If that is the quarterback of your team, you want him to have the greatest level of confidence ever, because that's the only reason why quarterbacks in this league are successful, is because they're confident in their passing game and, you know, doing whatever they're doing on the field. Like, if he's not confident in those moments, you're going to continue having a sucky quarterback because now he thinks all his fans hate him. And then guess what? You still didn't win because they're not going to fire him just because you started a petition. But now you got your guy with low confidence over here on his throwing game and on his D game. Like, come on, sis. Do better.
I also
That is the worst.
Probably, I think he's probably a fan thinks that he wakes up every morning and thinks, how can I disappoint everyone the most? Like that also, out of all the things that were said, that also kind of offensive. If someone said that about me, my feelings would be hurt. There's a lot of things in there that are worth being upset. Jackie, sorry, I cut you off. What were you saying?
No, I was gonna say, I guarantee that with everything she said, he's more focused on the what is wrong with my D. Like, why are we talking about, like, he's a man. I'm telling you, he is more focused on, like, do I know her? Does she have inside knowledge on what I'm working with? Why did she say that?
Confidence killer.
Right. Don't do that.
Right. It is very unfortunate. I feel like maybe this girl slid in his DMs. She got rejected because we all been in a situation where we're walking down the street, some guy's trying to like talk to us, and we say no, thank you, and then they say we're ugly anyway. That is this situation in reverse. Like that is exactly what I feel like just happened right here. She slid in the DMs, didn't get any play from Carson Wentz, so now she want to hate on him and try to get him fired from his job. Do better, sis.
Yep.
That is what I gotta say on Britt's take. Nobody's listening to you.
All right. I love Britt's went from, we talk about so many important, this one was about D size and buttholes. I love it. Okay. On that note, you guys, let's wrap up the show. Subscribe to the channel, tap the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and share it with your friends. Wear a mask and wash your hands today. Please don't start any petitions. They're just way too stupid. Nobody cares. And we will see you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for another live show. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Tip your servers and your bartenders.
Yep.